Hey, what's up, everybody? XRP chilling at $1.30, $1.32 right now. And we're just continuing to build the base, and that's exactly what we've been talking about. That's exactly what we want. We want to build that base so that we can have a better chance at breaking through the retrace levels, right? Because you come down, you come down, you come down, and then you go straight up. Problem is, then you just end up collapsing. So what do? You build support, you build consolidation, accumulation, right? And hopefully it sustains it and we can break to the upside. And there's a massive possibility that that's the case because of the wave shape, right? What we have here is 3 waves down, 3 waves up, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have 5. So we have a 3, 3, 5. It's in the shape of an expanded flat. And if you look at what's happening right now, we are essentially testing the low, testing the low, testing the low, right? Now, if we break the low, is that like, oh my God, throw in the towel, run away, and cry like a little baby? No. What that means is we are potentially going to get bullish divergence because that's one of the big things you want, especially on the higher time frames. Now, if you look at history, we really didn't get bullish divergence here. Like, for example, we had a low, we had a low, we hit the high, and then we made another low, right? But we didn't get the divergence. So it's not uncommon to not get it, right? Even though it would be nice to get. So if we zoom in to the 3-day chart, you could see there's the bullish divergence there on the start of that rally. So, and let's see if we go over here. Do we have any bullish divergence here? Not really, because it's not a really good a wave structure, right? Because you got that wick there. But if we look at what we're looking at today, right? We pull up the RSI, okay? And let's say this thing, for example, is gonna come up and then slam the low, and then we get that lower low, but then we get the higher high on the RSI. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. If you look at theta, for example, we already did that, right? So you can see right here, we hit the low, and then we made a slightly lower low. We hit the low, and we made a slightly higher low. So that's our bullish divergence for theta. So theta already did that, right? So if we look, though, at, for example, let's take a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is not making a base, right? And to me, it looks kind of like a bear flag if you want to know the truth, right? So is that the problem is this going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? I don't like it. I don't think so. Because if you look at the wave, we actually overlapped it. So it's not likely. So the previous count is better, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But is it going to be 6 and 7, like a 7-wave crashing structure? Possibly, but I think more than anything, anytime you have a big move down and a low, and then you kind of go up sort of in a flag, you can bet, uh, uh, you can almost bet that it's going to come down and make a higher low. It happens all the time. For example, happened over here, right? You had this sort of bear flag thing. You hit the low, but then what did you do? You had to come back down and retest the low, right? And if we go even further back over here, kind of over here, you could see it did not happen. You could see, well, that's very interesting. Look at this. We had a 1, 2, 1, 2. It kind of looked like a bear flag. Everybody was bearish. And then you would expect it to come and make the low, but bam, we took off like a rocket ship. So if we take a bars pattern, just real quick here, and, just let's see what it looks like. So if you overlay it, and I had to stretch it out a little bit to match it, but if you overlay it, it does look pretty dang interesting. So we're definitely at a crossroads here when it comes to the price of crypto, right? So anyways, looks pretty good, right? Now, if you come back over here, you could see, you know, you had a little bit of a flag, but then you had to come down and retest the base of it. So it's kind of a waiting game here. Now, it would make sense for us to come down and test down in here, somewhere down in there, right? Because you could see there's a nice thick order block right in there. So if this is like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, A, B, C, 2, and then you kind of 1, 2 it again, that's kind of what I would like to see, something like that. Because you don't really want this necessarily to break out. And if we do, it's fine, but you're going to get trapped up in here a lot longer versus if you were to come down, build a little bit more support, then come up, you're going to have a better chance, because everybody wants the price to just go up, 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 but they don't understand you got to be careful what you wish for, because it's all in the shape and the structure of the chart, right? So here we are, you know, we're approaching summer, or we're in May, right? What do they say? Sell in May and go away. But we've had so much selling this entire year, right? We've had a lot of selling up until February on here. But if you look at like XRP, it's just been stagnant, right? So it's been, in my opinion, an accumulation, and it does look pretty bullish. So we're going to look now at the small time frames, because these are a little bit more challenging, and I still like the way it looks, because you look like you have a shoulder, a head, and now we're getting another shoulder. Now before, it kind of looked like a shoulder, a head, and then another shoulder, but that was part of the bigger shoulder here. So remember, let's put our line right there, and we had sort of the descending triangle type of look to it, and we talked about this as well. So let's put that right there, and you can see we were about to break out, but we didn't get the close on that, right? And I said if we do break out, we do sustain, then there's a high probability that this is turning into a bigger 3. For example, A, B, and C. So A, B, and C, which could still be the case. But if you had that big 3-wave move, you're more likely to get another 3 down and then go up in 5. So that's why I was saying it's better to come down and tag these lows, right? And get a deeper move, right? And potentially build a little bit of a base in here. For example, let's see here. Kind of like AXS in a little bit of a way here. Not really, but you have this big pump, you come down, you build support, and then you hopefully continue the trend. Kind of a bad example, but there's other examples out there. But let's go back to XRP now. So we're still in between the demand line, right, and our supply line, right? So essentially, you know, our support, our resistance, let's see how this breaks out. Are we going to break resistance, or are we going to break support? Now, do I know the answer? I don't. It's impossible to know, but I can tell you if we do break to the upside, which I think is a slightly, it depends how well we hold, because right now, look at this. We've been going down and down and down and down, and these are 3-day candles too. So you have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. That's a lot of days. That's 2 weeks of down, 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 down. 2 weeks. So what do you think is going to happen? We're just going to keep going down? It's not likely. It's more like, especially because you have all of the support, all of the support, all of the support, right? So it's likely that we're going to get another little push up. So this push is important because is volatility going to slow? For example, if we look at Bitcoin's descending triangle back in the day here, you can see right here where you had a triangle, right? And you hit it, you hit it, you hit it. And what happened was you hit it one more time, but it failed. And then what happened? You went sideways and it just volatility died and then you fell down, which is a possibility, right? But not to that extent, because ultimately, what's the big thing here? The big thing is we're going into an expansion. Whether you like it or not, we're bullish, we're going up, we're going into an expansion. This is not financial advice. I could be wrong. We could go to zero and we can die. But do you really believe that? I don't. And why don't I believe it? Because of what's been going on for the last freaking 8 to 10 years. Right? We've been building a structure unlike any structure we've ever seen in crypto. We've never seen a crypto ever go sideways for more than 8 years in the top 10 without going in a bull run in 2021, without going into an expansion in 2024, 2025. And meanwhile, if you look at Bitcoin, I'll put Bitcoin on the screen. Bitcoin's had one bull run. It's had 2 bull runs, right? So it's, but really it's 3 bull runs. So XRP had 1 bull run. Let's do that one more time. XRP had 1 bull run. Bitcoin had 1 bull run. XRP had a retrace, but Bitcoin had a bull run. XRP came out of reaccumulation back to the top of the resistance. Guess what? Bitcoin had a bull run. So you can say, oh, that's bad, that's weak. No, this is pent-up demand. This is pent-up energy. Remember, you have all the regulations. Why isn't it breaking down now? We have all the regulations. We have XRP is not a security, right? But that doesn't give us a lot of juice because it's really built on what? On breath opening up, on, certain things that need to happen. And remember, XRP exploded. Look at this. It exploded from here all the way up to there. That's 832%, okay, in less than a year. Or you could say 800% in 200 days. So we went up 800% in less than 200 days. Or you could just be a little bit fancy and say, no, really, we went up, let's see, what is that? 500% in 10 days, right? Or 600% in 60 days. So this correction here, right? Because what we have here is you got a bull run, you got a bull run. You got a crash, you got a crash. You got a retrace, you got a retrace. You come down, you come down. You go into reaccumulation, reaccumulation. Box number 2, box number 2. Liquidity grab, liquidity grab. Massive explosion to the top of the range, right? But then look, we're flagging out in here. Well, guess what we're doing now? We're flagging out. What happens after that? We break the hell out. So what do you think's going to happen? We're going to break the hell out. And how big is this breakout going to be, considering the fact that we haven't, on this run, you can see we totally broke out. But on this run, we just went back to the top of the range, which is actually a better thing, because what it's doing is it's building, it's compounding support. Because, for example, if XRP broke out and went to $10, then on the way back down, it would have gotten crushed back down to this level because it's the strongest support zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything, I'm going to show you, I'm going to take everything off the screen just like that. And then I'm going to put, this is the strongest support level for XRP right there. Right at about 69 cents, and then we can clone it just a little bit, and then we can put a very thin one, right? The thinner ones are not as strong, okay? So, you know, if XRP had broken out, it would have, the likelihood of holding this support in here would have been very hard to do. But what did it do? Instead, right? Because remember, this is not a lot of support. This is not a lot of support. Why? Because it came up and right back down, came up, right back down. Instead, what it's doing now is it's hitting the high, hitting the high, hitting the low. It's building structure on top of these little mountains right in here. Right? It's like you're trying to climb Mount Everest and you finally got to the and you're finally getting towards the top, but you're out of breath, you're tired. So what do? You set up camp and you're going to sleep and you're eating food and you're getting what? Energy. You're restoring your energy so that what? You can continue the next morning. You see how that works? So what's happening right now is, in my opinion, an expanded flat right down to the support, right? So ultimately, we're at some of the final stages. Now, is it possible that, let me make this thinner. There we go, that's thinner. Is it possible that we kind of hit the low a little bit and then have 5 up and then 3 down and then kind of build up and build that base? Yes, it's totally possible, which is not a big deal, right? Remember, we're still dealing with Iran. We're at the final, I would say we're on the 4th wave with Iran. Think of it. You know, the first, if you look at Elliott wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the first thing was what? You know, the conflict with Iran, right? And then we pulled back a little bit. This was Midnight Hammer, right? And then what happened? The third wave, which is, third wave is the biggest wave. What happened there? The third wave was what? It was taking out their leadership. Their, you know, the first 10 seconds of the war, they took out their leadership, and then bam, 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 right? And now, what do we have now? Now we have the ceasefire, the blockade, all that stuff. And what does that mean? Now we're in the 4th wave. So I think there's one more climactic event to occur with Iran, and that's when they can have true freedom, because Iran thinks they're going to wait President Trump out, but that's not going to work, you know. And the fake news wants you to think that, you know, oh, the midterms and all this. But at the end of the day, it's about winning. And we've already won, right? We've already won. We're just letting it play out to the point where we have an agreement. And if there's no agreement, then it's no big deal, because the tankers can start filling up in the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America, right? The Gulf, or even Alaska, right? So think of it. All these oil tankers are filling up with oil in the Gulf of America and in Alaska and probably other places at $3, $4, $5 a gallon right now for gas. So we're making a lot of money. Obviously, it sucks that we're having to pay high gas prices, but at the same time, I think all of it's going to subside real soon. So plus, you know, I think we're going into, you know, summer, which gas prices are already, you know, going to tick up a little bit. But I think this war actually is going to make gas cheaper than if the war never happened. You can say, how is that even possible? Well, because summer, if you look at the price of oil, you know, we were coming up, we were flagging out. Summer happened, we would have broke out. But since the Iranian war took us out, took us up anyway, right? And then we're sitting here with a lot of supply, and those tankers have nowhere to go. Well, once the supply opens, then the price should come back down a lot. So we'll see how that plays out. But anyways, so we're looking at XRP, right? Is this thing going to hit the low, right? Let's go back to the smaller time frames for a second. Remember, we had our descending triangle, right? So we have bullish divergence in here. I do believe this is a good spot for me for a DCA because of where we're at support. So what I'm going to look for is, I want to look for a little bit of more of a base, and then I want to see 5 waves up, and then I want to see 3 waves back. and then I want to see it break out. That's what I want to see. That's option number one. Option number two, but if we got that option, then it would be more of a three-wave move occurring, which we'll talk about another time. But the other option is, kind of getting another three, maybe another three, and then kind of chill out and then hit the low, and then sort of have that 5-wave off the low with a 3-wave pullback, and then continue to go up. And then it creates a little bit of a bigger base with a spring, right? Because if you look at it from a Wyckoff perspective, you can kind of see it's a little bit similar, right? I mean, you can see it's potentially here we have, your Wyckoff zone, right? So if you look at it as like maybe three, three, you hit the low, and then you kind of come back up a little bit, right? And then what do? This is one type of pattern. There's another one that actually comes down in a spring, and then you kind of hit up right there, and then you come out right here, and then break out, So this could totally be a Wyckoff accumulation, right? Which means this could be the spring in here. So it can come down a little bit more, right? Just like this one, right? So you bam, 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 spring, liquidity grab, breakout. So you have like what? Like a bam, 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 spring, liquidity grab, and then a breakout right there. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's certainly possible, and it's what we would look for at the bottom of a 5-wave move. So there you go. That's XRP. Also, if we also want to be bullish, you can look at this as a roll. Watch this. You got yourself a shoulder, a head, and then it looks like we're potentially forming another shoulder in here, which could mean that if we take a trend line from the low to the top, and then we take that and we put it right about there, ballpark, and then we take this right there, you can look right there, that's $1.88. So $1.88 is a good target, and then I'll just stretch this all the way across. And would you look at that? That is the underbelly of our extreme resistance line, which is, this is going to be the most challenging thing. You got all this resistance, right? So even if we do break out of this little range, we still have this big problem to go through. That's why I'm saying it's better to create a bigger structure down here, so that when we go up and fight it and we get rejected, most likely we will get rejected the first time and we're coming back down, but guess what? Now we have support to hold us and re-energize the batteries to hopefully eventually break out of this range, because it feels like it's impossible because of how much time has gone by. People feel complacent. It's never going to happen. But trust me, you can look at the chart. You get these massive spikes, right? So the difference is, this pullback, this 3-wave pullback, is backtesting the top of this 8-year base, which, by the way, is one of the most bullish things about the chart anyways. So, let's see how it all continues to play out. Because if you look, I mean, right here, you could say we've already back tested it, right? So you hit the resistance, you come up, you hit it again, and then you come up and then you break out like it wasn't even there. And then you have this 3-way pullback and you're back testing the top of this resistance in here, right? Or the triangle. You can even look at it as a triangle, right? A, B, C, D, and then E. So A, B, C, D, E, perfect triangle, breakout, perfect flat. I mean, look at this thing. I mean, it's a crime not to label it. I mean, look at this. This is a perfect flat right in here. So I think at some point it's going to be finished, because look, XRP is destined for higher prices. If you just look, I was just listening to Secretary Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, very smart guy on finance, and almost a genius, basically. And they asked him about the crypto and said, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "Our job is to make American crypto, bring it here to America." And then I go, "Okay, well, who's the number one crypto in America aside from the exchanges like Coinbase?" It's Ripple. Ripple is the largest American blockchain fintech company in the United States by far. It's been in the top 10 since its inception. And you know what? How is it possible that it's in the top 10 when it hasn't went in a bull run in over 8 years? Think of it. Remember when Solana beat XRP? Everyone's like, "Oh, look at that, Solana." Yeah, now look where it's at. Right? Remember how everyone's like, "Oh, all these other coins beat XRP or ADA," or I don't know, there's shit like Doge. I don't know, there's few of them that beat XRP at certain times. Well, XRP is just brewing like a strong cup of coffee. It's just going sideways for years. So what happens when it breaks out? I mean, you can see the pattern very clearly, right? If you just zoom out a little bit here, right? You build your base, bam, 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 and then you go into an expansion. And then what do? You build it again, bam, 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 bam. And then what happens? You most likely go into an expansion. And then what happens? You're most likely going to go into another one of these. So you're stepping up, you're stepping up, you're stepping up the ladder. It's pretty simple, right? Now, now it's not all sunshine and rainbows. What if the worst possible thing that could happen to XRP is that this is a W, this is an X, and now this is going to be 3, then we're going to get 3, and then we're going to get 3, and that's going to be a Y, and it's going to be it's going to be a running flat WXY. It's going to suck really bad. We're going to probably hit down to 30, 40 cents. We're going to build a little bit of support, 5 waves up, 3 waves down, and then break out. That would be the horrific thing, and that would be basically in a depression phase. But I don't think so. I don't think that's what's happening at all. So, but you never know. The only thing that could cause something like that would be Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin has already 5 waves up, but it looks like it's also in an expanded flat. So I'm wondering if we're going to get, you've got 3 waves down. Are we going to get 3 waves up and then 3 waves down and then break out? Maybe something like that. Or is this enough? We will see, right? Because this chart is something I don't really, I mean, it's just too much for me. All the gains are already gone. So now people realize that. I think you're going to see a big shift in Bitcoin dominance, and this is going to start going down. And look at it. It's already going down. You can see you have a big crash. You have a 3-wave move, right? If we flip it upside down, look how bullish that looks. Look how bullish that looks. Look at that. You're just going down, 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 down. You have a impulse and you have a 3-way pullback. So, this thing can start to accelerate, which is good for XRP, bad for, well, not bad for Bitcoin, but it's losing some of its strength. And then we can see other coins like Filecoin, who's been down in the dumps for years. We can see it potentially start to come out. And remember, if we look at XRP, oh, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because it's only going to, oh, wait, is that THETA? Go to XRP. Yeah, so there we go. So Filecoin only had a bull run back when we were in that retrace, right? So But anyways, let's look at theta. Theta, the potato. It's like, um, to me, it's like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The most important thing for theta is to hold this support box in here. Just like that. We want to hold that support box. And then once we do that, then we can build our structure and then ultimately go into the retrace. So it's not too much to talk about here. But ultimately, it's going to be about getting back up to these levels, right? And seeing the wave structure here because, I mean, just look at the chart. You have a massive impulse and you have a massive three-wave pullback. That's back testing wave one, which to me is wave one. This is wave two, and wave three is the biggest wave that has yet to be seen, right? And I think that comes in through Trump's golden age, where we have this sort of extreme, this extreme thing to happen because of, in my opinion, we're transitioning from the old central banking fiat currency system to the, basically we live in the SWIFT system, right? We live in a SWIFT system. That's what it's called. And SWIFT, the central banking SWIFT system, is outdated. It's clunky. It's slow. It's expensive. The insurance is crazy, right? So we're migrating to a blockchain, AI, decentralization, autonomous, right? I mean, even the exchanges. So if it really allows people to take control of their own money and their own destiny instead of these financial institutions, just because they're the ones who have all the money. They're the ones who are just ripping everybody off, and it doesn't have to be that way. So, and then you talk about payments and all that stuff. It's all gonna get more and more and more. So, um, you know, at the end of the day, it's all about advancing. And to me, there's no other option. Trump already said there's going to be no central bank digital currency. They talk about private stable coins, which is fine. But guess what? Ripple is also, they have the stable coin. And so I think it's going to be the battle of the cryptos, right? Instead of the battle of the central bank digital currencies. Because one of the things is surveillance. They don't want, if I have 10 central bank digital currency dollars and I go buy whatever, then they can see what I bought, right? Well, same thing with your credit card. They're already spying on you. You know what I mean? So, crypto, it's going to give you that layer of privacy, but there's just so much more. I mean, if you don't believe in crypto, then you shouldn't invest in it in the first place. If you don't think for a second that this wave is going to eventually turn around, then I don't know. I mean, I don't get it. So to me, it's really, we're just waiting on Bitcoin here. So let's look at the small time frames a little bit here on Bitcoin. It's really hard right now. I mean, obviously we're in this channel, right? So the first step is holding the channel. Now, to me, the best thing would be if we got 3 waves up and then we got 5 waves down. And then we build a base and then we go for it. That's kind of what I would think. And then we can have that low and then that slightly higher low, right? That we've seen many times throughout Bitcoin's life. Kind of like this in a way, where you kind of come up. It's not a good example, but you ultimately make a little bit of a higher low there. So, or you can kind of see it like this, where you just kind of come down, and hit the base, and then you just melt up, as they like to say, melting up, right? But so if you actually look at, for example, like Bitcoin and XRP side by side, it actually looks interesting here. So you could see it right here, for example. Look at this. You kind of have, this like this little three-way move up, little three-way move up, kind of chill out a little bit. You hit it, right? Got a three-way move, three-way move. You slam the low, you slam the low. Look at this, guys. And then you sort of build this base right in here. And that's what we're doing right now. We're building that base. Now, if you look closely, it's not completely the same, but it's similar. So if we can see, let's see if we can draw it here. So we got this little move here, and then we come down, and then we hit the high, and then we hit the high, and then we hit the low, and then we hit the low, and then we come back up to the high, we come back up to the high, and then we hit the low one more time, hit the low, hit the low. Oh my God, guys, come on. We hit the low one more time. 1, 2, blast off. 1, 2, blast off. Not financial advice. I could be totally wrong. We can go to zero. You can lose all your money. Just know that I believe that XRP is insanely bullish. It doesn't mean it's going to happen tonight or tomorrow or next week or in the next couple weeks, right? And it's like, well, you can say that, but then eventually you'll be right. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of exactly. Eventually, you will be right. Exactly. That's all we want. If I can add money and money and money and paycheck after paycheck after paycheck after paycheck, knowing that I will eventually be right, then you just won. You only have to be right once, right? As a trader or as an investor, it's the long-term look of the chart, right? It's all about the long term. Who cares about the short term? Right? So yes, it sucks that, we have to wait, but I think we're super, super close. I mean, just look at the chart. So, worst case, we have to come down and maybe get some bullish divergence. Maybe even as low as 90 cents. That would suck. But I really feel like once that ship turns around, we're going for it. So, and yeah, let's see how all of that plays out. But if we look at, there's a lot of other coins too, like ADA here, right, where it's kind of creating this W pattern, right? This double bottom in here. We've seen examples of that. Whoa, XLM! Look at that. I didn't even know that, or did I? Look at XLM, dude. It's just blasting off right now. Crazy. So look at XLM. This is exactly what we're probably going to get from XRP, right? Remember, it was the same thing we were just looking at with the fractal of Bitcoin right over here. It always takes me back over there. I hate that. So I want to stay right there. You can see same kind of behavior in here. Same kind of behavior. You hit the low, and then slam up, then slam up. I mean, come on. So if we look at XLM, look at this thing, right? The way I look at it, I mean, you got 3 waves down, and you took the low, and that to me looks like Wyckoff. And then we exploded to the moon almost. I mean, look at that. That's a huge move. So XRP, that should be next on the radar potentially for XRP. We'll see how it continues to play out. It is Friday. We're going into the weekend, so shenanigans always on the weekend. Even Monero kind of got a little bit of a 3-wave move. Just kind of looking around here. But that's pretty much it. There's going to be a lot of great opportunities for a lot of crypto. And XRP is probably not even in the, I would say it's in the top 5 of percentages, but there's probably going to be a lot more of them that have even better percentages. You know what I mean? So look at optimism, for example. If this thing is dead, then it's dead. But if it's not, and you do your own research, that's what you got to do. You got to do your research, look into this, and see what's going on with the company, with the blockchain, and see what, what's in store for it. What's their timeline? Did they give up? Are they still working on it? And if anything, you should get a retrace, and that retrace could be huge, right? So others, look at others. I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exactly what we thought. And then you have A, B, and then you have C. That's also exactly what we were talking about. And now you're sort of having this little move up. You're probably going to get a move down, build a little bit of a base, and then hopefully break out. We'll see. But anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. ICP, kind of the same thing. Built that sort of bullish divergence in here, building the base. Haven't looked at Litecoin in a second. It's not the best looking one, but it is a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation sideways. So we're still going sideways. We're at the low of the low. We'll see how it plays out, but I gotta go, and I will remember, not financial advice, and drop a comment. Let me know what you think, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.